Hey everybody, today we're going to be covering a very specific type of march. This is useful when you're doing a lot of like head-on-head, weakening tower, power station type battles. Got to do a little imagination here because obviously we're not in the middle of a fight right now, but I wanted to get this out before the fighting starts so you guys can prepare for it. So, how this works and what it is this is what I'm going to call the Ahab March. Also could be called the kamikaze march. There's another name I can say, but if I say it on YouTube, my video is going to get flagged and have to go through all this legal mumbo jumbo. So I'm going to call it the Ahab March. Some people call it the kamikaze march. We'll just go with Ahab for now. So the idea behind it is you are looking at a power station that has or a weakening tower that has a whale in it, or somebody much considerably larger than you that you personally might not be able to knock out, but maybe one of your teammates could, and you're trying to minimize your losses as a whole. So an example of that would be one of my teammates is going to try to help me out so I can one hit this guy and not lose any units, or even I help myself out and I lose half the units instead of using an entire march to do the same amount of damage. So the idea behind this march is you attack knowing you're going to lose, but you try to do as much damage as fast as you can, and knowing that you're not going to survive in the battle. So some of the things that you're going to want to do are you're going to want to find 3 heroes or 2 heroes that are really effective at doing a lot of damage fast. So some of those heroes consist of Akatora. Once he's 5-star, he launches his rage attack right at the beginning of the battle. Definitely something you're going to want to have. So 4 to 10 missiles causing 45% damage. That's instant damage right at the start of the battle. Nothing anybody can do about it. A second good hero for this would be Erin. Yes. So yes, I know she's new, but how she works is she starts off with 3 rage points, and when she launches an attack, she gets 1. So by the end of your 4th tile attacking, you are using her skill, which can also help your other heroes launch their skills more often. Something to keep in mind that this level 5 skill does increase how many points she adds, so it goes faster after her skill triggers. The last hero may not seem normal for a lot of people, but Cromwell. So these 3 heroes aren't all from the same branch, and they don't have to be from the same branch. It's all about their skills, and it's all about getting their skills to trigger and do as much damage as you can. So Cromwell's skill, she starts with 4 rage initially, and after each attack she gains 1, with a chance to acquire 1 more. So that means at least by the end of the 3rd tile she's attacked once. Now pair her with Erin and Akatora. You're getting all 3 triggers by the end of the 4th tile for sure, and then with Erin you might even get a 4th trigger by the end of that 4th tile. So in my mind, you could send 5 tiles, maybe 6 tiles here, and it could do a lot of damage. Now, something you want to try to do with this Ahab March, I'm calling it, is you want skills that are going to cause damage. So you want to put on your Navy damage increase, or whatever style troop you're going to send, whether you're going to send Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever you're going to send. Make sure you're using all the skills the same. So all 3 of the heroes would have Navy damage increase. All 3 of them would have the attack. All 3 of them would also have the exact same thing for non-rare. So they'd have the non-rare damage increase, and they'd probably have the non-rare damage attack. The reason I don't say crits are because this isn't going to be reliant on crits. So you're not worrying about your crit rates, you're not worried about that. All you're worried about is doing as much damage as fast as possible. So you're wanting to increase your attack, you're wanting to increase your damage. So you can see here we've added 80 almost 100% attack, and 5 20% damage. So between 3 heroes, that's 60% damage, almost 300% attack. You can see how that adds up really quick. Now, as for your march, when you're attacking, and I'm just going to reinforce like I'm attacking for say, I'm going to go, you gotta go through all your clicky screens. So we had Cromwell, Akatora, and where is she? Aaron, yes. So for me, I would use army, and I'm going to do army because I want this to target one tile, at least when my tiles are attacking, just one tile, whereas like Navy and Air Force, they kind of spread out and they do damage across 3 tiles, which might not take out any troops, whereas if we're focusing on more on one, you have a higher chance of at least wounding one troop or taking out a tile type of thing. Now, how I do this varies. Kind of depends on what troops I have available. So if I'm doing this right now with these 3 heroes, I'm sending 5 tiles of full troops, and then what I'm going to would do is I would demote troops to send a single troop on all the other 4 tiles. Now, the reason you want to do that is because you want to increase the amount of targets that the enemy has when they return fire. Because typically you're doing this into a weakening tower or into a power station protected by a weakening tower, meaning you're not going to get to attack first, you'll have the second attack. So you want to definitely be able to do as much damage as you can, but still understand that you're going to have to receive some fire. So if you do this, you have 4 tiles here that are basically going to eat some shells and not have to do anything. Sorry, eat some shells and not actually lose any troops. So you're really only losing 5 tiles worth of troops to do as much damage as you can. Now, there's the catch to this, is that you have, if you're hitting into weakening tower, you have to survive through that. So you can probably assume that these are all going to go bye-bye. And depending on their skills and their triggers, you probably are going to lose 1 or 2 tiles here. So you might not have a lot of tiles to begin with. So the secondary option to that, depending on how strong you are. So for me, I can probably last through and still have 3 or 4 tiles for most battles. If you're not extremely strong, do Akatora and do 2 boost heroes like Nimitz and Basil, or Akatora, Vili and Basil, or Amalia, things like that. That way you are maximizing his damage as quickly as possible, whereas, or right off the bat, whereas if you try to last through it, you might not do any damage anyways, and it's kind of a waste. But the goal of this is to hopefully knock down their total troop count so that when somebody else hits it, it's not as rough, or they're actually able to get that victory. You also want to try to plan this so that if somebody attacks quick, somebody's right behind them, either doing another one of these, or your home run hitter's right there, making sure that that person doesn't have a chance to recuperate or resend and refresh their march. So a lot to take in. Make sure you have PvP comps on for this. Make sure you have your base skins on, everything set up. Everything's the same for PvP. All you're doing is you're trying to minimize your losses, knowing that you're going to lose anyways, but still doing damage. So Akator is huge in that. Rockfield can be huge, but the problem with that is once you start minimizing your march, then you're minimizing how much damage he does. So I don't tend to use him. It's either I do something like this where it's trying to get rage or skills to trigger super early, or it's something where I'm doing Akatora and I'm just basically everything's trying to boost Akatora's trigger. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this makes sense. Please leave questions in the comment section if you have anything, or reach out to me on Discord. And remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and see ya.